Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare, sometimes self-care, and today we're talking hype skincare, specifically the VT Reedle Shot 100 Serum. Now, this is blowing up in popularity and being incredibly hyped all throughout the skincare community. So what is this product? This is a product that claims to contain tiny little micro needles or Reedle technology that help to open up pathways in your skin to allow the active ingredients to absorb deeper into your skin and be more effective for you. The active ingredient here being centella. They also claim that this is a much more gentler version of microneedling for your skin. So let's talk about this product. I've been testing this out for a while now. I have given it a very thorough testing, actually 2 testing periods. I have a lot to share about this product and really wanting to answer the question for you, is this worth the hype? So if you're so ready to dive into this deep review, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. So let's talk about the claims of this serum because VT is making some big claims about what this can do for your skin. So they claim within 3 days of using this product, you should see a brighter, clearer, more radiant looking skin. They do claim that this serum really helps to target dull skin, and they claim that this helps to shed away excessive dead skin cells from the skin. Another big claim that they make within 3 days, right? That's their big claim. Within 3 days, this serum is also going to help your skin feel more elastic. And they also say within 3 days that your skin should feel more moisturized, balanced, and hydrated. So really big claims about what it can do for your skin first and foremost, but also how fast it can do it for your skin as well. So let's talk about some of the key ingredients here. You will notice that it's a fairly minimal ingredients list. There's no artificial fragrances, essential oils, no fragrant compounds, and no drying forms of alcohol. There also aren't a ton of plant extracts in here, so they have kept it fairly minimal. Now, one of the most recognizable ingredients that's the highest on the list here is good old niacinamide. Are you surprised? It's in everything. And I do believe that the niacinamide in here is probably mostly helping with the claims about the dull skin. They are claiming that it helps to even out your skin, make it like more radiant, and they also have that dead skin cell claim, which I found interesting because, as you may have noticed, there's no exfoliants here on the ingredients list. AHAs, BHAs, azelaic acid, even retinoids, any of those ingredients that help the skin cell turnover process. However, niacinamide can have that effect for the skin. It definitely is a brightening ingredient. In higher concentrations, it is known to help with texture on the skin. It's also, has like a little bit of that mild skin cell controlling property. It also helps to control excessive oil on the skin. I don't know the percentage that they are using here in the serum, but I think it's important to remember that this is a little bit different in that it's driving the active ingredients deeper into the epidermis. So you may not need as high of a percentage to get similar results that you would with a higher amount. So while we don't know it, we can tell that it is one of the most active players here because it's the highest on the ingredients list. And we do know that it can do a lot for the skin. VT is one of those Korean brands that really believes in the power of centella and the benefits for the skin. And that is reflected here in the serum. And that's really the main ingredients that they're pushing first and foremost is the centella content. So we do have centella extract, which we know is really well proven for its ability to soothe the skin, to soothe and calm inflammation, but also to facilitate wound healing on the skin. They're using the 4 biologically active compounds found in the centella plant. So we have asiaticide and asiatic acid. Now, these are interesting compounds in centella that really help to stimulate polysaccharides in the skin and may be responsible for some collagen stimulation in the skin. Madecassoside and madacassic acid, which you may be more familiar with, madecassoside is definitely incredibly soothing and healing for the skin. You find it in a lot of anti-inflammatory and anti-irritation types of skincare products because that biologically active compound really reliably soothes the skin. And that's exactly what you're getting here. It definitely helps with wound healing, soothing inflammation, but it may also contribute to some of the anti-aging or well aging abilities that are starting to be studied in centella, some of that collagen stimulation, some of that wound healing. A couple of other interesting ingredients of note, we do have propolis extract in here. I wasn't expecting that. One of my favorite K-beauty ingredients that really does contribute to that overall soothing, anti-inflammatory, wound healing ability. It's also antibacterial, but propolis is really well known for bringing a healthy, radiant glow to the skin. You may also notice a ton of amino acids on the ingredients list. And amino acids are actually, they're a huge class of ingredient and they all do different things. Generally, we regard them as hydrators for the skin. They help to support the skin barrier, but a couple of different ones, especially combinations of certain ones, can do more than just that. And so I did want to point out here on the ingredients list, proline, glycine, and leucine, all three together actually may help to improve the look of fine lines and wrinkles on the skin. So the texture of this product has a cream gel-like texture to it. And it actually, as you spread it onto your skin and apply it, it actually feels a lot lighter on your skin than it appears when you first pump it out of the bottle. As you spread it, it does have a nice amount of hydration to it. It actually absorbs and dries very quickly on the skin, and you're left with just this like kiss of balancing moisture. There is a touch of macadamia seed oil here in the formula, but it doesn't manifest in the texture. It's very rich or greasy, but it does offer just a touch of balance. This isn't like pure watery hydration. There is just a little bit of that, just that kiss on the skin. Now let's talk about the Reedle, because this was the thing, when I first received this product, which I actually got it from one of the advent calendars from 2023. And I was like, ooh, what is this? And it's saying that it had micro needles or Reedles. And I was like, is this gonna hurt? And that may be one of your big questions too. Like, am I gonna feel this? And when I very first tested it out on the back of my hand, I didn't really feel much. And then I also tested it like on my chest and I didn't really feel anything. But once I got it onto my face, I absolutely felt the Reedles. The Reedles are real, it feels like pinpricks. As you apply this, you will feel this kind of like prickling, pins and needles into your skin. I would not classify it as painful, but I would classify it as uncomfortable. I am somebody, I think, who has a fairly high tolerance for pain. I can take a lot, and it was pretty uncomfortable for me. I didn't really love how this felt, but you absolutely can feel it working on the skin, which is a very interesting, very, very different. So if you were wondering, how does this feel, you will feel it. I did forget to mention at the top of the video, there's different versions of this product. I am reviewing the 100 Reedle. There is also a 300 and a 700 Reedle. And as you would imagine, that actually correlates to a stronger micro needling effect. So let me tell you about testing out this product. And as I mentioned earlier, I actually tested this out in 2 phases. So this is a very deep testing process. This is not like a first impression review at all. My first testing period began in December. And let me tell you about my skin type. So I do have combination skin. I am very dry in the U zone and oily in the T zone. The amount of that imbalance fluctuates with the season. So in December, where I live, it's just cold, it's cold, it's icy. And that's when my skin tends to lean more dry. The U zone is much more dry than it is in like spring and summer. And then I also want to let you know, I'm a tretinoin user as well. And that, always, brings in some extra considerations as well. So as I mentioned, my first testing period began in December, and I had not felt the Reedle sensation as I was testing it out on my hands. I had tested it out on my chest, not really much, but once I first put it on my face, I was like, there it is, there's the Reedle. And I have to say, the very first time I put it on my face, I was just like cringing. I was like, this is so uncomfortable and strange, and I don't love this. And as I mentioned, I don't find it painful, but I find it uncomfortable. And so it was just kind of like, ooh, okay. And what I also noticed too, that really struck me about this is, even though I feel like I thoroughly applied it to my face, face. I gave it like a little bit of time to settle in and then followed up with my other skincare layers. The other layers I put onto my face would kind of reactivate the needles. I could feel them moving around in my skin. And so that like kind of made the rest of my skincare routine rather uncomfortable. And also, weirdly enough, as I mentioned, in the winter, I can go quite dry. So occasionally on those really bad days, I just need like an extra layer of moisturizer in the middle of the afternoon. And I did notice on a few occasions when I used this serum, when I would do that, I would put an extra layer of moisturizer on hours after performing my routine. I could feel very little, very subtle, not many, but I could still feel some of the Reedles, kind of moving around on my skin, which was very strange to me. I was like, how did these not absorb? I think it's true about their claims about like within about 3 days, you'll notice changes on your skin. I did notice that my skin was looking a lot fresher, a lot just healthier, I think is a great way to say it. I do struggle with hyperpigmentation spots from pimples on my skin, but generally, taking that out of the equation, my skin isn't very dull or uneven, but the glowiness, right? That lit from a thin look to your skin can fluctuate depending on the products you're using, depending on your health, right? Depending on the season and everything. And so I think in wintertime, it can lean a little bit more to the dull side. And that's really what I'm talking about when I say my skin looked fresher. It wasn't necessarily brighter, but it was just healthier. It seemed like the blood was flowing better. And it was a really nice look, definitely. I felt like maybe it helped a bit with texture as well. I am a little bit more congestion prone. I feel like it might have helped, but I think just the overall healthiness and smoothness and brightness, you know what I mean, was enough for me to be like, wow, this is really working, and it's working very fast. However, within maybe less than a week of using it, I started to get some pimples. And as I mentioned, I'm congestion prone, so it kind of comes with the territory. It does happen. And I did mention I am a tretinoin user. I did not use this serum in combination with tretinoin. So I might have used it in the morning, the morning routine, but in the nighttime routine that contained tretinoin, I use it about 3 to 4 times a week. If I was using tretinoin that night, I did not incorporate this into my PM routine, just as an abundance of caution. I don't need the tretinoin to go deeper into my skin. It's already working fine enough as it is. But anyways, pimples happen, right? So I was like, okay, whatever, kind of shrugged it off at first, but then I was getting more, and they were pretty inflamed. They were pretty deep under the skin. They were pretty angry. And then I started to get pimples in places I don't normally get them. And that is a big sign for you to pause and take a step back when you're starting any new skincare products. Those are signs that like the product is irritating your skin to the point of breaking out. So really the warning signs here, right? Like deep inflamed pimples and pimples in places that you don't normally get them. So I gave myself a break. I stepped away. I let my skin heal up, clear up, get strong, and feel less sensitized from the product. And then I actually started another testing phase with this in January. Now, let me tell you why I chose to do that, because I know some people are like, why would you go back to something that did you dirty, right? In my experience testing so many skincare products over so many years, I have found that sometimes my first impression or my first testing of a product doesn't actually reveal the truth about the product. There can be times when just other factors are causing you to break out. There can be other factors that just cause your skin to be more sensitive at that point in time. And so I have found it to be useful on occasion to give products a second chance, and especially something that is gaining so much hype. I am literally being asked about this product daily here on YouTube to review and share my thoughts on it. This is why I have taken so long to create this review, because I want to do it right. And I don't want to just put out like a first impression, like, bleh, this is what happened to my skin kind of reactive type of review. I really wanted to take a step back and really start to gather more information and test out a few theories I had about this product. And so as I started to test this again, some of the things I wanted to incorporate into the second phase of testing were limiting the amount of uses with this product. So when I first tested it, I just replaced my serum with it and was using it AM and PM. Definitely not on those tretinoin nights, but generally I was using it quite frequently. And so I had been reading some things about like maybe only incorporating this like 3 times a week, like using it more of a treatment rather than as an everyday serum. So that was the first change that I made, is I didn't use it quite as often. Like I said, about 3 times a week is what I was aiming for. And as well, the application method. I had heard some people talking about you shouldn't rub it into your face, so like swiping it and doing like circles, right? But actually pat or tap it into the skin. And so results, right? Tapping versus rubbing. I personally found no difference here. The tapping I found maybe like by 10% lessened the discomfort, but the tapping actually did not cut down on when I put another layer on, I could feel the Reedles again. I also did, it happened again. I put some cream on like 4 hours after doing like a morning routine with the Reedle, and I felt just, it was very, very, very minimal, but I did feel it a little bit even after tapping it in. So I'm going to question that technique. That I see that recommended a lot, that you must pat it into your skin. I'm not really sure if that's actually enhancing the Reedles penetrating into the skin. I'm not really sure. Using this less frequently throughout the week definitely did help with the breakouts. But I have to say my skin still felt a bit irritated, a little bit dehydrated, a little bit sensitized from using this, incorporating this into my skincare routine. I didn't get like the big inflamed breakouts, I think because I was limiting my exposure to the product, but my skin was still feeling very tested, you know what I mean, by the product. Another thing that I've seen recommended as like a way to really enhance how this can work for your skin, not only does the Reedle technology help the active ingredients within the serum penetrate into the skin, but it helps the absorption of anything else that you put on top of it get into the skin, because it's opening up those pathways, right? And so a very common piece of advice is to put the serum on and then put a sheet mask on top of that. And I think the results of that were quite nice. I think that it did enhance the absorption of the sheet mask, but I didn't find it to be like spectacular. I didn't like take the sheet mask off and be like, OMG, visible results. It's just like, yeah, my skin feels more hydrated, more plump, but that's generally how my skin feels when I do any sheet mask, whether I've Reedle needled into my skin before or not. All right, so let me share with you my thoughts overall about this product. I mean, as you can tell, like my thoughts, not great on this one. And I think it's especially heightened for me about how I guess negatively I feel about this product because of the hype that it is receiving. And I'm not saying like it's a popular product. A lot of people are talking about it. It is hyped to the point of almost absurdity. Everybody is talking about this product. I do believe that this is receiving genuine hype. And so what I mean when I say genuine is oftentimes within the skincare industry at this point, because there is so much interest and so much content being created around skincare, there is such a thing called an industry plant. Maybe you've heard of this. And that is where a brand will take their product and they will seed it out to a lot of different influencers. They may also do a huge marketing campaign around it and a huge sponsorship budget for, bigger influencers where they will, pay them to review the product. And they may even have very specific messaging that they will ask those sponsored and maybe even some of the unsponsored ones, right, to really hit certain key points. And all of a sudden, a product you never heard of before is everywhere on social media, everywhere on YouTube, everywhere on Instagram and TikTok. It's all over like all the beauty articles, right? Allure does a lot of this type of stuff. And so you're just going to see it everywhere. And I'm not saying that that's not what happened with this product, but what I am saying is I don't think that's exclusively what happened with this product. So yeah, I didn't get this gifted from the brand. I think I already mentioned I did not pay for it, but I received it in an advent calendar, which might have been a marketing strategy, right? But I do want to let you know that I don't have like any type of relationship with VT. I'm not speaking from any knowledge of what they're specifically doing. It's just that I know a lot of people say, is this a plant? And I have to say, it they might a little bit, but I think a lot of the hype around this is coming from a more genuine place. This is just a very interesting product, right? In a sea of sameness in skincare, this stands out. I've never tried anything else like this. I also think that this product plays on the psychology of like, if you feel it, it must be working. Like beauty is pain, or like no pain, no gain, right? I think a lot of us do have that sort of like planted into deep into our minds. I know for me personally, as a young kid, growing up in the late 90s, but also as a teen in the early aughts, definitely that was like a big message that we got around beauty. I think especially if you can feel it, it must be working. I remember really astringent, like very alcohol heavy types of toners to treat acne. I personally use Proactive, and I remember putting it on my face and feeling like the little pin pricks, right, from the alcohol content. And I remember thinking it must be working. And so I think a lot of us, if you use this and you felt this and you're like, yeah, it's working, I think it plays upon that for a lot of us. I think that paired with like, hey, in 3 days, my skin does look a little bit more radiant and a little less dull. I think in combination with that Reedling feel, I think you may look at those results and they may seem more impressive to you than if it was just a normal serum that didn't have that sensation to it. But I guess with all the hype and everything around it, like I just want to say a little bit like come down to earth. Let's get our feet on the ground a little bit and let's adjust our expectations of what a product like this can literally do for your skin. I think that the claims about helping to make your skin a little bit more vibrant, check. I definitely noticed that. Skin more elastic. I guess it depends on what you think elasticity, how that improves on your skin. If it's just like a firmness, maybe, all of those amino acids really do help to hydrate and plump the skin. They can help with the protein structure of skin. So with long-term use, you may feel that your skin feels a little bit more firm or lifted, and you may think, yeah, my skin is more elastic. Maybe. Like I said, let's get our feet on the ground here a little bit. This is centella amino acids and niacinamide with the needling technology, right? But that's, those ingredients can do quite a bit for the skin, but I think adjust the expectations that this is not going to be the be-all end-all miracle worker for everybody. I personally, and I'm not saying this, that like you should not find joy in this. You may genuinely love how this feels on your skin. I'm not here to take that away from you. I'm just sharing my opinion from my experience, which is this is a joyless skincare product for me. I don't find any joy in this whatsoever. And I don't, of course I encountered obstacles in my testing with this. It's not a fit for my skin. But the little bit of benefits that I did notice from this product just wasn't worth it for me. It wasn't worth the stress. It wasn't worth the labor, the work, right? The chore of adding this into my routine. And it wasn't worth the irritation either. And I think that is so important for us to examine in our own personal routines. It's so important, and sometimes that hype sneaks in and we don't realize that, like, even though it's popular and hype and a lot of other people like it, it's just not right for us. So my rating on the product, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's just not for me, right? I did not have a good experience with this. This should not be a surprise to you. If you have sensitive skin, if you're prone to irritation, proceed with a lot of caution. If you don't have that and you're still interested in this, as I mentioned, just like, let's put our feet on the ground a little bit and really, let's be clear about what this actually can do for the skin, and let's try to separate that from the hype. I think that this can be beneficial for resilient, non-sensitive skin. I think it can do some nice things for sure. I think it's a very interesting and unique concept for a product, and that's why people are talking about it. But people have taken that talk about it to such great heights and hype that this product would never be able to meet that hype. I don't think it lives up to the hype, but I do think that it might be able to do some things for some folks. It's not for everybody. So I hope you enjoyed that long overdue review. I really wanted to take my time with this because I have a lot of thoughts about it. So I hope that deep diving into this was helpful for you one way or the other. And if it was, I would love it if you would hit subscribe if you haven't already. Come join our community, especially if you love K-beauty products, if you love deep diving into ingredients and maybe kind of like pushing us hide some of the hype. Definitely, this community is for you. Turn on notifications so you're never out of the loop. I am curious to hear your thoughts about this. Have you tried it? What have you been hearing about it? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I love you so much. Thanks for being here with me today. Thanks for making this channel possible because I can't do it without you. I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.